Hi, welcome to DURGASOFT. I think I'm audible and my screen is also visible. So, as this is our first demo, first let me introduce about myself. I'm Divya. I have about 9+ years of experience into data analytics. I have teaching experience in all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. Okay, with DURGASOFT, currently I'm teaching MySQL and Tableau. Okay, so as you know, the course duration is of 35 days, 35 sessions I'll take. Usually the classes will be from Monday to Friday. Okay. And going forward, I'll show you the course content. That is the topics which we will discuss in which will cover in this entire course. Okay. So before starting, today I'll give the introduction about databases and SQL. We will see about user interface of MySQL and we'll try to create our first database or tables. Okay. But before that, if possible, you can just tell me about yourselves a little bit. Like, are you currently working? Are you completely new to SQL or do you have prior knowledge on SQL? Something like that. You can unmute yourself one by one and you can speak, or else even you can, uh, you know, type in chat box. Anyone? Naveen, Ramesh Babu, Ravi Teja, Sri Kanta.
Yeah, good evening. Naveen
Hi,
here.
good evening.
Yeah, I'm having around 2 years experience in Windows system admin. So
Oh,
now I want to upgrade myself in my skill, ma'am. And mostly I'm looking for Power BI also, ma'am. Is there available like that, ma'am?
Yeah, with DurgaSoft we have Power BI, definitely, but currently I am not teaching Power BI with this.
Okay, okay,
Okay, but we do have power another lecturers with for Power BI. Okay, you can just check with
okay,
admin team.
okay. And
Even you can find the details in the website as well. Yes, Naveen.
definitely. Yeah, and I'm having a little bit knowledge on my skill, ma'am. I studied my academics, ma'am. So now I
Okay,
want to upgrade myself to my skill, ma'am. Yeah.
I got it. I got it. Thank you, Naveen. Perfect. Anyone? Anyone? Raviteja. Okay, perfect, Raviteja. I got it. All right. Remaining persons, if anyone wanted to speak, or even you can type in chat box, or else I'll just yes, Srikanta.
Yeah, I'm new to SQL, ma'am. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Perfect.
Uh,
See, first of all, the reason why I'm asking like this in the sense, in every batch we do get mixed students. I'll get some students who are already having 4 to 5 experience in SQL, but still they wanted to learn some advanced concepts like CTE, store procedures, subqueries, and all. Yeah, and I'll get from complete freshers students, okay, who are into their academics and who are planning to learn SQL because we as we know in whatever domain we choose in IT industry, definitely we should have knowledge on SQL, right? It can be you can choose full stack development, you can choose data science, you can choose testing, whatever job role you will get, whatever domain you choose, everywhere SQL is must. Correct? So I will get students as well, and mostly I'll get you know the persons who are already working in some other fields, like some non-IT students who are just trying to transit their career to IT industry. They also definitely will start their career with the SQL, right? So definitely in every batch I'll get the mixed students. So that is the reason, keeping everyone in mind, I'll teach everything from scratch, even from what is database, what is data, even what is from starting from what is data to the very advanced concept. I'll teach everything practically. We will use one real-time database. We will follow that database to learn every concepts in a practical way. Okay. So yes. First, let's start with the introduction. So before understanding about database and SQL, first let's talk little bit about the importance of data. I mean, why we need databases, why databases came into existence. Let's try to understand that little bit first. Okay, so importance of data. As we know, we are generating lots of data nowadays, right? Data generation is became so important. And see, if I talk anything practically on daily basis, we all are using our smartphones, right? In our smartphones, we are using so many applications. It can be any banking application to do any transaction. It can be any food delivery app. It can be any e-commerce app like Amazon, Flipkart, right? Any food delivery app like Swiggy, Zomato, or else any OTT platform like Netflix. Whatever it is, we are using so many applications in our smartphone, and whatever we are doing with each and every application, it is nothing but at the back end we are generating some data, right? Because whatever we do, definitely it will store in the form of data only, correct? Let me take an example of Amazon. If we purchase any product in Amazon, what will happen? Definitely data will be generated. What kind of data? For example, it can be the details about the product details like product name, right? Supplier name. It can be the price of the product, right? Manufacturer name, maybe the description of the product, right? Some details about the product. Even order details, like the order date, when we ordered it, correct? Order date, it can be order time, and customer details like the customer name, customer address, to where we want that product to deliver, correct? Customer name, it can be address, customer phone number, customer mail ID, delivery details, delivery person details, like that. Each and every details will be stored in the Amazon. I mean, Amazon people, they once for every product, this much of data will be generated. So we know on daily basis how many products will be sold in Amazon, right? So definitely we can understand on daily basis, on the daily level itself, lots of data is generating at their end. So definitely, as we are generating this much of data, there should be some good systems where we can store and where we can maintain the data, right? That's where databases came in picture. Database is something where we can store the data. Okay, so every company nowadays, they are maintaining their own database where they can store. Suppose Amazon, they will have their own database. Anyone who buys a product, who sells a product, whatever we do there, data will be generated and that data will be stored within their database. Okay, like that. So obviously before also we used to generate data, but nowadays the data generation, data is being generated a lot, right? For example, from when, in the sense, maybe I can say, first starting from, once demonetization happened, if you remember. What happened once demonetization took place? Overnight we all started using payment applications, right? Before that, we everyone used to do cash payments only, but from that moment only, all these applications like phone pay, Paytm, Google Pay, all of them, we started using those applications, right? That is also, using that application is also nothing but generating data only. If for every transaction whatever we do, definitely the data will get generated, right? And especially from the demonetization, whenever it took place, from that time the data generation, I mean, before demonetization also we generated data, but from that particular time, the generation got increased. Okay, I mean, the data we are increasing a lot, the data generation has increased a lot. And especially from the covid, COVID pandemic, what happened we all know, right? Once COVID came, what happened? Everything, we started using everything online, right? We started purchasing things online, we started using OTT platforms, even we are doing work from home, correct? We are learning today also, we are learning something in by connecting in online, like that. Whatever we do in online, it's nothing but we are generating data. Okay, so as the we are generating this much of data, that much demand we have for the databases, because for every company, should maintain the database to maintain their data, to store their data. Okay, so definition of database, to keep it simple, we can say collection of data. Okay, database is something where collectively we can store the data and from where we can maintain the data. Okay, I hope it is clear about what is database. Because the reason why I took this examples in the sense, see, previously also the data was generated, but at that time it was small. The data generation was small, so that is that. So at that point of time, we used to store the data in Excel files, right? Previously, before computers came into existence, they used to store the data in files manually in some registers or books, right? We used to store every data manually. But once computers came into existence, we used to save that in some files like Excel files, text files, right? But now also, even today, we can store the data inside Excel file. But the data we are generating is lots of data, right? Excel cannot handle a huge data. We have some limitations of Excel file where after a couple of days I'll discuss. Okay, we can store data inside Excel file also, but why database came into existence in the sense, definitely we have some limitations or we have some problems with Excel file. What are all the limitations we have in Excel and how we overcome all that limitations by using databases? Okay, that is one concept. I'll discuss that in coming days, in couple of days. Okay, so yeah, but with Amazon example, we can understand, as this much of data is generating on daily basis. Definitely, we should have some good systems where we can store and from where we can maintain the data, right? That is nothing but a database. Okay, so fine. We understood about what is database. Now let's try to understand about what is SQL. Obviously, we all may know the full form of SQL is structured query language. But what exactly SQL is? What is the definition of SQL? To make you understand, as I said, I'll get all mixed students. Even I should keep non-IT students also in the mind. So let me just take one simple example to make you clearly understand what exactly SQL is. Okay, so to make you understand, I'm just taking one simple example so that you can relate the things easily. So let's just consider this is one school, okay, where I'm talking about maybe one class that is 10th A section, okay. So in this class, what they will do, they will store the student details in one register. If you remember in our childhood also, maybe they used to maintain some registers manually, right? Where they used to maintain attendance, something like that. I'm taking the same example. Here also, they are manually maintaining from one physical register where they are maintaining maybe some data like student ID card, student ID or roll number, okay, and student name, okay. Maybe let's consider student marks or attendance. Anything is fine. Or else let me write both the things. They are maintaining marks as well as they are maintaining the attendance. Okay, all these details physically they are maintaining. So one day what happened? The principal of the school, he thought as at his 10th class, he wanted to analyze about the students. Maybe he wanted to see about student marks or he wanted to analyze about the students' attendance. So what he did, he called his peon and he said to his peon that go to 10th A section and bring the register so that from that register he can analyze the about student marks or attendance. So peon understood. He went to the 10th A section. He brought the register and he brought the data whatever he wanted to, right? So the same scenario, instead of registers, if let's consider this is a big university, okay? Of course, instead of maintaining the data inside registers, they can even maintain the data inside Excel files. Okay, of course, instead of maintaining the data inside registers, they can even maintain the data in Excel files. That is also one possibility. But now I'm not talking about the Excel files like JNT University, like JNT University, where there are thousands of students. Instead of maintaining physically, they are maintaining data inside a database. Okay. So now the same scenario. if instead of registers, if they are maintaining data inside a database, and in this scenario also, if the principal wanted to analyze about the student's data, then what he need to do? In the previous example, what principal did? Simply he called his peon. He said to his peon that go to 10th A section and bring the register, right? So definitely, while communicating here, principal might use some language, right? Maybe he used some English language, Telugu, Hindi, whatever it is, but definitely he should use some language. Then only peon will understand what is principal requirement. Then only he can go to the 10th and he can give the register to the principal, right? In the same way, if the data is being stored in database to communicate with the database, here also principal need to use a language called as SQL, okay, to communicate or to make database understand what principal wanted. If he wanted to see so and so data, definitely he to communicate that, to communicate his requirement, here he should use a language called as SQL. However, to communicate his requirement to the peon, principal used English or Hindi, right? Here also, to communicate his requirement to the database, principal should use a language called as SQL. Okay, so that is what SQL is. SQL is nothing but it is a language which is used to communicate with the database. If our data is stored inside the database, to communicate with the database, whatever requirements we have, we should use a language called as SQL here. Okay, clear? So let me write the definition here. SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. Okay. I hope it is clear.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, what is MySQL? We are saying that we are learning MySQL, right? SQL language. Okay, we understood. Then what is MySQL in the sense? Obviously, see, first of all, SQL is a universal declared language. Whatever concepts we use to deal with the database, all the concepts, the complete subject, the concepts belongs to SQL only. But to use that concepts, we have so many databases in the market, like Oracle SQL, MySQL, SQL Server.
Postgres.
Like that, we have so many databases in the, yes, PostgreSQL. Like that, we have so many databases in the market. Like for example, Oracle SQL and MySQL are the companies from Oracle. I mean, are the tools from Oracle company. SQL Server is a tool from Microsoft company. Like that, as we have so many companies in the market. They have their own databases also, right? So don't think that if you are learning MySQL here, everything is same. Actually, the concepts belongs to SQL only. Just to as a simple example, in simple words, if you want me to explain, we have something called as OS, right? We have Android OS, we have iOS, right? If we know how to use Android phone, we can use OnePlus. It can be OnePlus mobile, it can be any another, Samsung or whatever companies, can be anything, but the OS Android usage will be same, right? In the same way, the concepts and the subject will be SQL only, but the tools to use SQL are different, but the subject will be same. If you learn MySQL with the same subject, with the same queries, you can even use Oracle SQL, you can even use SQL Server. There won't be much difference. Okay. Don't think like if you are learning MySQL and in any company, if there is SQL Server requirement, still it is the same. Okay. I mean, the concepts, everything will be same. Actually, to elaborate this, let me tell you, SQL are of two types. Okay. SQL and NoSQL. Okay, whatever tools I just mentioned, all those tools comes under SQL. In NoSQL, we have MongoDB. This is different again. Okay. So the tools, whatever comes under SQL, the concepts will be same. The queries will be same. You can apply the same queries in any of this tool, any of this database. And NoSQL tools which comes under NoSQL, mainly we will use MongoDB under NoSQL. That is again different. That is completely different. Okay. And so first we will have database. As I said, database is a place where we will store the data, right? But how we will store data in the sense, inside the database we will create tables, and inside the tables we will store data. Okay, so always we will create tables in the form of rows and columns, right? Example, let me write here. Let's create one table. As this is an Excel file, I'm just writing normally. Employees is my table name. I'm trying to store some data here. Okay, so maybe employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Okay, so let me give some data quickly. Okay, so here employees is our table name, and as I said, every table is a collection of rows and columns, right? So here we have vertical thing is called as column. Okay, this is column. That means we have 4 columns here. Employee ID is one column, employee name is one column, salary is one column, date of joining is one column, and horizontal thing is called as row. Okay, that is we have 2 rows of data here. This is first row of data, and this is our second row of data, like that. Okay, so as this is Excel file, I wrote normally, but in SQL to create this table, we need to use some commands, we need to use some syntaxes, which we will see going forward. Okay, up to here, whatever we discussed, is that clear for everyone? If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask, or else please acknowledge me that it is clear. Perfect. All right. So I hope everyone, it is clear for everyone. Okay. So yes. What else? So we have something called as RDBMS. Okay. Full form of RDBMS is nothing but Relational Database Management System. Okay. Relational Database Management System. So what is this RDBMS in the sense? First of all, as I said, inside the database, always we will create the tables, right? We will always store the data inside tables only. But what is RDBMS in that? It's in the sense every time SQL follows RDBMS only. So what is RDBMS in the sense? If all the tables, we already discussed that the data will always store inside the tables, right? So if all the tables are connected with each other, okay, all the tables are connected with each other, then we will say that database is following RDBMS technique. Under RDBMS, definitely there will be the connection between the tables. Okay, always. That means always in SQL, the tables should be connected with each other, because always SQL will follow RDBMS technique only. So how many tables we will create under SQL, and under each database, how many tables we will create? There should be connected with each other. There should be connection between the tables, definitely. And NoSQL, their tables, there won't be any connection. Tables are not connected here. That is the difference between SQL and NoSQL. In SQL, tables are always connected. Tables should be connected. In NoSQL, tables are not connected. Okay, so always SQL follows RDBMS technique only. That is the reason whatever tools, whatever databases we use under SQL, all those databases will be same, because definitely all the data, whatever we are storing under this databases, under these tools, whatever tables we are storing, all the tables definitely are connected to each other. So how it will be connected to each other in the sense, definitely there is one concept called as foreign key, which we will learn going forward. But for now, this I'm just trying to give you the basic idea about how we will store the data and all. Okay. So this is about the introduction, basic introduction or basic understanding about the database and SQL. Okay. So if everything is clear, I'll just try to directly start showing you user interface of MySQL, and we will start maybe we will create our first database. Okay. I hope it is clear.
Clear, ma'am.
Perfect. So I'm just opening MySQL. Once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay, no worries. Step-by-step process I'll show you. You can install at that point of time. Now I'm directly showing you the already installed software. Okay, once we open MySQL, this is the first page you can see. You can see something called as local instance here. You need to click on it. Just a second. Okay, so let me keep this file as it is. So yeah, this is how it looks. MySQL Workbench. Okay. Every time while installing, we need to install MySQL Workbench as well as MySQL Server. Anyways, I'll show you detailing the installation process once we are done with demo classes. Okay. So here, as we know, however, we have in Excel file and text file, here also we have menu bar, some options, toolbar, some options. Okay. So to open a new file, what is a new file here in the sense? This is an SQL file where we will write all our queries. Okay. So editor page I can say, or else file, SQL file I can say. So to open a new SQL file, we can use two ways. Okay. Either in the menu bar, we have file option. In this file, you need to click on second option, that is new query tab. If you click on new query tab, one new file will be open here. You can see for now the name of the file is SQL file 5. Here, this is the editor page where I can write any queries. Okay. Or else even we have a short. So first, one way is under file, we have new query tab. Okay. Or else the shortcut is in the toolbar first icon, this one, this symbol. Okay. If you click on that also, you can able to open a new file. Okay. So inside this file, you can write all the queries and you can just save it. Okay. So to save the queries and to save whatever you write inside this file, inside the files also we have some options, right? So here the second option is save button. After writing anything, if you wanted to save, you can just click on this save button and you can store it in your system. Okay. And to first option, you can see here you have a folder icon, right? That is nothing but if you wanted to open already saved files. Okay, you saved some files in your system. To save the file, you will click this save icon, and to open the already saved files, you need to click on this folder icon like this. If you click on this folder icon, it will allow us to select any of the file. You can just select it. Okay, and you can open like this. Okay, this folder icon is used to open already saved files. Save button is used to save the file. Okay, and the third icon is execute button. So to see the output after writing any query, you need to execute, right? So this is the icon, third icon, execute button. Okay, so before this, first we have something called as schemas here. And below schemas, you can see some names here, right? This is nothing but list of databases available in my system. Okay. So how many databases I created, all that database name we can see here. Okay. By default, you will have only one database. Once you install the software, by default, you will have only one database, that is sys database. Okay. Once after that, whatever databases you will create, that database name you can see like this here. I have this many, that is the reason you can see all the names, but by default only one database we will have, that is sys database. Okay. After once you create any particular database, that database name you can able to see here. Okay. And under each database, suppose let me select, you can see small triangle symbol here, right? To expand it, If you click on it, so under every database, basically we will have 4 sections. Okay, that is tables, views, stored procedures, functions. Okay. So one by one, we will learn everything. For now, we are concentrating on tables. Going forward, we will learn views, stored procedures, everything. Okay. And at the bottom, this is information section. Okay. So generally, whatever, if you select anything from here regarding that information, you can see here. For example, for now, I already selected SQL demo. In the information, it is showing that the schema name is SQL demo. Okay, if I select any table, we can, I already created some tables in this database. So if I expand, this triangle is nothing but we can expand it. Okay, if you expand, you can see I created 2 tables here. So one is employees table, and if I'm selecting employees here, information about the employees table, you can see under information section, that is table name is employees, column names and data types. We will learn now what is data types, but basically in the information section, we can find all the details here. Okay. And this is about the database name. This is information section. So this is editor page. We will write all our queries. Under each file, we will have this options. Mainly, we will use this 3 options. This is first icon is to open already saved file. Second icon is to save the file. Third icon is execute button. Right? Once we execute any query, we will see output here in the output section. This one at the bottom. This is output section. You can able to find outputs here. Okay, and we have few more options here like edit query database. Going forward, we will see all these options whenever it is required. Okay, for now, this is the user interface of MySQL. Okay, so this is okay. So let's create our first database here. Before creating the database, let me discuss some points. First of all, I'll just write some definitions of some points here. What is database? As we discussed, simply we can say it is a collection of data, right? Next, what is SQL in the sense? So SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database, right? Okay. So one more thing, MySQL is case insensitive. That means you can use lowercase, uppercase, no problem. Anything is fine. Okay. Lowercase you can use, uppercase you can use, no problem. Anything is fine because it is case insensitive. Okay. And next thing, we have something called as comments in MySQL. Like in every other programming language, like in Java, in Python, in every programming language, we have something called as comments. Here also we have that comments. Comments is nothing but whatever you write inside comments, that is non-executable. Okay. Suppose if you don't want to execute anything, you can just write inside comments. But if you observe here, before writing all these points, I used a symbol, this one, right? Before every line, I use this one. This is nothing but a comment. Okay, that means this is a kind of theory part, right? I'm just writing something like a notes here. I don't want, this is not a query. I'm not going to execute it. This is something like notes. So that is the reason I kept it inside comments, because this is the thing which I don't want to execute. Okay. So whatever you don't want to execute, you will usually keep it inside comments. Okay. Like any other programming language, here also we have comments, and we have 2 types of comment. First is single line comment. Else let me say single row comment. Okay. Let me say line only instead of row. Single line comment. And this next one is multi-line comment. Okay. So single line and multi-line. Simple single line comment is nothing but in a single line, if you keep it as a comment, that is called as single line comment. And the symbols to indicate single line comment is the symbol which I already used, or else hash, one hash. This is also used as a single line comment. For example, instead of this, I can use hash also, right? Either you can use hash or else 2 hyphens like this. So basically, this is a single line comment. Multi-line comments, in the sense, instead of writing as a single line, if you wanted to keep something like if you wanted to write something like a paragraph, 3-4 lines, if you wanted to keep inside comment, that is multiple lines, if you wanted to keep inside comments, then we have the symbols. Okay. This is the start of the comment. Okay. Hash and star. Inside you can write whatever you want, and this is the end of the comment, star and hash. In Java, Python also we will use the same for multi-line comments. This is the start of the comment, this is the end of the comment. In between you can write any code. Simply I just wrote some letters here, but you can write whatever you wanted to write inside a comments. Hash and star for starting of the comment, to end the comment, star and hash. Okay. So if you wanted to keep it in single line, you can use this symbol or this symbol. For multi-line, you can use this symbol. I hope it is clear. These are some basic points which we need to understand first. Okay. Now, let's create our first database. But before that, let me talk a little bit about something called as syntax. See, here, first of all, everything whatever we do here, we will have something called as syntaxes. Syntax is nothing but you can consider that as a rule or something like a formula. Okay. For every task, for creating the table, for inserting the data, for creating database, whatever it is, for each and everything whatever we do here, we will have a syntax for that, and we need to follow that syntax to do that particular task. Okay. That is, for creating table, you have a syntax. For creating database, you have a syntax. For everything, we already have some syntaxes, something like formulas. Okay. In maths, however, we have formulas. In coding languages, we have some syntaxes. You need to remember them. You need to follow them to do that task. Okay. So, like first, now let's create our first database. Okay. So as I said, for creating database also we have a syntax, and the syntax to create database is create database name. Okay, this is the syntax. Create database name. Now let's create database. Let me give any database name. First of all, we need to always give database names and table names uniquely. I cannot repeat the same name. Yeah, see, for example, I have here SQL 6, I have SQL demo. I can't keep same name once again. If I'm trying to keep the same name, it will throw me error. See, I'm once again giving SQL demo. It will throw me error stating. See, first of all, we need to select like this, and then we need to execute by clicking on the third icon here. Once we click on execute button, it will show the output in the output section. It thrown me error. If you see green color tick mark, that means it got successfully the query is successfully executed. And if we get any errors, you can see like this red color cross mark. Okay. Now for this, I got an error stating can't create database. SQL demo database exists. We already have one database with that name. So I cannot create one more database with the same name. That is the error here. Okay, like that. For every error, we will get error messages. By seeing that messages, easily we can understand what mistake we did. Okay, so as this is 7 p.m. batch, let me keep database name as SQL7. Okay. So this is our database name. So this is a syntax, right? Create database name. So I'm just selecting this. I'm executing. It got created, correct? So now to reflect this, to see this SQL7 in this database list, what we need to do? We need to refresh once. Here we have a refresh icon if you see. This is a refresh symbol. You need to click on it once. Okay. Now I got my SQL7 database. Okay, we can expand it. You can see we have 4 sections. Under each database will have 4 sections: tables, views, store procedures, functions. But I cannot able to expand tables because we didn't create tables. We just created database, right? So like that. This is how we can create a database. Okay. Now what we need to do? We need to activate the database. So what is activating the database in the sense? You can see here I'm having so many databases, right? So many database names I'm having here. I know I wanted to use SQL7 database for this particular batch. But to make SQL understand, I wanted to use SQL 7 database, we need to activate it. Okay, so how we will activate in the sense, for that also we have a syntax, that is use database name. Okay, we need to use keyword and then database name. So let me write use database name, that is SQL 7, right? So now let me execute. Here I'm activating it by using, by using use command. By using this syntax, basically we will activate whatever database we want. So I'm executing. Now you can see SQL 7 got highlighted, right? Remaining all in one simple color, normal color, but this is became into dark bold characters. That is indication that SQL 7 is activated. Now SQL will understand we are going to use this particular database, and going forward, whatever queries I will execute, all the queries will be executed under this database only. Usually in real time, mostly we will work with only one database. We'll connect to directly our client's database. There, no need of activating the database. But here we have so many databases, right? So every time, definitely, if we are using multiple, if we have multiple databases in our system, we need to activate the database. Then only we need to use. Okay. So what will happen if we don't activate it in the sense? If you remember previously, none of the database is in activation, right? All if if no databases are inactive are activated, and if I execute any query, it will throw me error stating no database is in activation, or no database is activated. Something like message it will throw us. That kind of error it will throw. But for example, this batch, this is 7 p.m. batch. I wanted to use SQL 7. Next for 8 p.m. batch, maybe I wanted to use SQL 8 data. But in hurry, if I miss activating SQL 8, and continuously for 8 p.m. students also, if I start without activating SQL 8 database, if I start executing some queries, what will happen? All that queries will be executed under SQL 7 database only. So that thing we should keep in mind. Okay, I hope you understood, or else let me repeat. If none of the databases are in activation, that is fine. Okay, if we forget to activate also, it will throw us error stating none of the database is activated. Then we can remember and we can activate the database whatever we want. But suppose if one of the database is activated, but if we wanted to use any another database, and if we forget to activate that database, at that time it won't throw any errors for us. Whatever database is already activated, all the queries will be executed under that database, which is wrong, right? I wanted to use SQL 8, but I forget to activate. Currently SQL 7 is already activated. So next, directly I'll join in next 8 p.m. batch, and whatever query I'll execute, that query will be executed under SQL 7 database. So that will be, in this scenario, they won't throw us any error. So we need to be careful every time. Okay, clear?
Yeah, man.
Perfect. So
Yeah. You mean to say like whenever we create a database, we should follow like activate the database only, always, right?
correct. Every time, so
Okay.
daily,
Okay.
whenever you are using, before using, first you need to activate it and then you need to
Okay.
use. Okay. So we created our first database, we activated our database, right? Next, we need to create a table. Okay. Create table. So for creating table also, definitely we have a syntax, right? And that syntax is create table, table name. Okay. And after giving table name, we need to give parentheses. Technically, we'll call them as parentheses, or else even we can call them as brackets. Inside brackets, we need to define column names. Column name 1, okay, data type, column 2, data type. Like that, how many columns we want, that many column names we can give. For example, in Excel file, I used employees table. For employees table, I used 4 columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Like that, how many columns we want, that many column names we need to give. Okay, so column name 1, 2, like that, how many columns I want, we need to define inside table name within the brackets. But for every column name, we will define data type also. What is data type? I'll just explain it. Okay, so like that, suppose how many columns you want, that many column names we need to give. And for every column name, we need to define the data type. And at the end, we need to close the bracket. Okay, this is the syntax for creating table. Okay, so create table, table name. For example, let's try to create employees table. Okay, table name is employees. Okay, I'll give brackets first. Inside the brackets, I'll define column names. My first column is employee ID, then employee name, then salary, then date of joining. Okay, four columns I wanted to give, so I give. But for every column name here, we need to define data type also. Why I didn't wrote data type? Because we didn't discuss about data types, right? So first let me discuss about data types, and then we will continue creating the table. Okay, then only we can define data types, right? So we first what we'll do, let's try to understand what is data type. Okay, so to make it simple, in a simple way, I can explain by using this. Suppose I mean, of course, this is an Excel file. We just wrote one table here, correct? So we have one column here called as salary. Okay, and I gave some value like 60,000. Instead of 60,000, if I write something called as hello, okay, or else if I write anything randomly, what is happening? It is just accepted, right? In Excel file, this is one of the biggest drawback. What is the drawback in the sense? Whatever I'm writing, it is just accepting. It is not throwing me any error, or it is not stopping me entering any wrong data. It is not throwing me any error stating this is salary column. You need to enter numbers only, but you entered some textual data, right? It is just not throwing us any error. It is just accepting whatever we give. Suppose date of joining, definitely in date of joining column, we need to give dates only, but instead of date, if I'm writing anything randomly, it is just taking. It is not throwing us any error. This is one of the biggest drawback of Excel file. So if you remember, previously I said, even we can store data inside Excel files also, but we have some limitations, right? So this is one of the limitation of Excel file. What is that limitation in the sense? It won't allow, Excel files won't throw us any error. Knowingly or unknowingly, if we enter any wrong data, it will just accept, correct? So which is wrong actually. As you know, definitely as we are maintaining this data for future purpose, definitely we should maintain some systems in such a way that if we are entering any wrong data, it should alert us, it should throw us error, right? So this is one of the drawback of Excel file. It won't stop us, it won't throw us any error. Whatever we will type, it will just accept, right? This limitation, this problem, we overcome in database by using a concept called as data types. Okay, what is data type in the sense? In every column, we will define some data types, and this data types only will decide what kind of values we can enter in that particular table. Okay, let me write the definition. Data types in the sense, data types will only decide, what kind of values we can enter in that column. Okay. We have some types of data types. Okay, let's discuss that also. Types of data types. So first is numeric data type. Okay, definitely numeric data type in the sense for numbers we will use this data type, right? So that's where here salary column in the sense definitely I need to give numbers. So for salary column I need to define numeric data type. So what will happen? It will only allow me to enter numbers. If I'm entering any textual data, it will throw me error like that. Okay. So next we have character data type, character or string data type. Okay. Next we have date time data. Okay. Mainly we have these three data types. Of course, again, numeric data type. Again, each of these data types divides into some types. Like numeric data type, we have int and float. Okay. Actually, we have only 5 minutes are left over. So let me continue this data types concept. We have like in character or string, we have char and varchar. In date time, we have date and date time. So let me discuss those data types detailedly in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow is also a demo class. Let me continue that tomorrow. Today, we only have 5 minutes. So let me first explain the course content, what we are going to cover in our course. Okay. From this point, I'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. I'll discuss about the data types, types of the data types, and then we will create our first table. We will insert some data and like that we can continue. Okay. We can continue tomorrow. Tomorrow will be our second demo. Okay. So first, now let me show you the course content or the topics which we will cover in our course. Okay. So first, introduction to database and SQL, which is done today. Limitations of Excel file, I'll explain you in couple of days. Creation of database and tables. Today we created the database, but tables will create tomorrow. Okay. MySQL installation. Once we are done with our demo classes, I'll show you that. Data types in SQL, detail we will discuss tomorrow. Okay. Next concept is SQL commands or sublanguages. Basically, we have 5 types of sublanguages in SQL. Okay. So those are DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. Okay. That is nothing but basically we have so many commands in SQL. Okay. And all those commands are divided into 5 types of sublanguages. Under each sublanguage, we have all these commands. Okay. Which I'll discuss detailedly by solving some examples. Okay. Under DDL, we have create, drop, alter, truncate, rename, like that. Under each sublanguage, we have some commands which we will discuss detailedly. Okay, very important concept. Next, we have integrity constraints. So we have so many types of integrity constraints like not null constraint, unique constraint, primary key, foreign key, check constraint, default constraint, like that. We have some constraints. Why we will use constraint? We will discuss detailedly by solving some examples. We'll create some tables, we'll create some constraints, and I'll discuss detailedly why we will use that particular constraints. Okay. So up to here, up to integrity constraints concept, this is very basics of SQL. So because of that reason, up to this concept, I'll use some basic tables like employees table, orders table, okay, manager table, students table, like that. Some basic customer table, some basic tables I'll use and I'll try to explain these concepts. Once we are done with integrity constraints, then the specialty of my coaching of my course is that I'll give you real time database. Okay, the database is movies database, or else even we can consider that as an OTT platform database. Okay, so that is a real time database. The reason is that definitely once we started working in any company, we will deal with real time databases where we'll have some huge volumes of data, right? So in learning process itself, if we learn by using real time database, if we handle here only huge data, then it will be like you will get some hands-on experience on dealing with their databases, right? So here I'll give you one movies database where we'll have some thousands of data. I'll first explain this database. I'll show you how to restore this database into your systems, and then from the next concept we will use this database only. Okay. The next concept will be operators and clauses. One of the important concept, of course, we have some operators and clauses in SQL. Clauses like where clause, order by clause, distinct clause, limit clause, a group by clause, having clause, everything we will discuss detailedly. And we have some operators like and or not, range operator, that is membership operator, between operator, in operator, that is membership operator, like that we have some operators, and especially like operator. Like operator is nothing but it is used to search for data patterns. If you wanted to display data based on any specific patterns, then we will use like operator. Okay. In every domain, this is very useful. Like operator, we have some wildcards in like operator. We will, by using that wildcards, we can search for data patterns. Okay. Next, we have functions. We have some inbuilt functions in SQL. Okay. So we have some types of functions like numeric functions, character functions, date functions, aggregate functions. Under each function, we have so many functions again. Everything we will discuss detailing. Okay. Next, one of the important topic of SQL, that is joins. See, I believe SQL is it's something like a backbone for complete IT industry, and joins is a backbone for complete SQL. In SQL, joins is very important concept. In real time, we will use joins a lot. So I feel joins is a backbone for SQL. Okay, so because of that reason, we will discuss joins concept very detailedly. We have so many types of joins like inner join, left join, right join, outer join, self join, cross join, natural join. Every join we will discuss detailedly by solving many examples by using real-time database only. From here, all the everything we will learn practically by solving examples on this real-time database only. Okay, especially joins concept. As this is important, what I'll do, discuss some examples in class, and not only that examples, I'll give you some more example questions as an assignment, kind of assignment. Okay, it's up to you. If you are interested, you can solve that. No need of submitting that to me. Okay, I'll just give you some questions and I'll give you some time, like 1 week or 10 days. Once you are ready, I will explain that solutions in class so that you can recheck yourselves whether you can able to solve joins or not. Okay, it's up to you. If you are interested, you can solve and you can recheck by yourselves. It's not compulsory. Yeah, I mean it's no need of submitting that solutions for me. Just if you are interested, so that you can check whether you can able to solve, you can able to write joins queries or not on your own, because it is important. Definitely on daily basis, you will use joins a lot in every domain. I mean, in whatever job role it is, you will use joins. Next, regular expression. One of the again important concept. Same like operator. By using like operator also, we will find data patterns. By using regular expressions also, we will find data patterns only. But in like operator, we can search data patterns in only two ways. Okay. But in regular expression, we have so many ways, we have so many methods, which we will discuss detail. In so many different ways, you can find for the data patterns. Okay, next, group by clause and having clause. Of course, it belongs to clauses concept only, but why I mentioned here in the sense, we can solve good examples on group by clause and having clause after learning joins. Okay, that is the reason we will learn this after joins. Okay, group by clause, having clause using aggregate function under inside group by clause. Okay, next, subqueries. Subquery is nothing but if you write one query inside another query, that is a subquery. We have some types of subqueries like correlated, non-correlated, single row subquery, multi-row subquery. Everything we will discuss detailedly by solving some example. Next, normalization, denormalization, normal form. This is one more important concept, especially for those who are looking forward to become data engineers. In data science, we have so many job roles. In that, data engineers are the one who will actually use this normalizations and normal forms. Okay, who will actually create the real-time databases. So to explain it simple, usually how from clients we will get raw data. Okay, the clients will send us data in the form of Excel files. That will be raw data. Data engineers are the persons who will receive raw data from the client. They will only clean the data. After cleaning the data, they will use normal forms and they will convert that raw data into a perfect database. Okay, so the raw data whatever we will get from the clients, that form we will call it as denormalized data. And by using normal forms, once we create that raw data into a perfect database, that form is called as normalization, which I'll discuss detailing. Okay, how we will convert denormalized data into normalized form by using normal forms. Okay, I can bet in any institute, if they include this concept, they will only explain you theoretically. But here, I'll show you practically. I will take one real-time raw data, that is, I'll take one sales data, and I'll show you how we are going to convert that raw data into a perfect database. Okay, that is how we will convert denormalized data into normalization. We will see practically. Okay, next, ER diagrams. And next, important, views, indexes. These are all small concepts only, but very important concepts. Not only discussing what is this concepts, I'll explain why we will use this concepts, in which scenarios we will use this concepts, I'll explain. Okay. Next, temporary tables. If you wanted to remove duplicate data at a time, we will use temporary tables. CT is one more advanced concept. CT is nothing but common table expression. Okay, why we will use this, when we will use this, we will discuss detailedly by solving examples. Next, stored procedure, one more important and advanced concepts. On daily basis, if you wanted to do daily tasks, we will use stored procedures. Okay, we have dynamic way of creating stored procedures also. Everything we will discuss detailedly by solving examples. Okay, static way, how we will create stored procedure in a static way, how we will create stored procedure in a dynamic way, everything we will discuss. We have some parameters Inside store procedures like in parameter, out parameter, everything we will discuss. Next, one more advanced and important concept, window functions. Nowadays, in every interviews, we can expect at least 1 or 2 questions on window functions. Okay, we have 5 types of window functions. That is rank, dense rank, row number, lead, and lag. Everything we will discuss detailing. Okay, so these are all the concepts which we will cover, and at the end we will discuss some important frequently asked interview questions. Okay, so this is the course content which we will cover in 35 sessions. From Monday to Friday we'll have classes. Almost 1.5 months it will take to finish. And the course fees is only 3,000, as you know. And this is our first demo. Tomorrow is also a demo. Please use the same Zoom link and join tomorrow's class. We'll continue from today. That is from data types concept. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay. And that's it. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now.
Ma'am, are you providing recorded session?
Of course. You will get all these recording sessions. Along with this, I'll provide you notes also. And that recording videos, you will have access up to 6 months from the date of your registration.
Okay.
Okay. Notes you can download and you can just use them forever. But for videos, you will get up to 6 months. Okay.
Madam, are we going to do any project, ma'am, after completion of the program, ma'am? Course?
For MySQL, there won't be any project. It's nothing but, a project is nothing but using real-time database only. That is what we are doing here. Okay.
Okay.
If it is PL/SQL, there will be projects. But for MySQL, I mean, normal SQL, there won't be any projects.
No, I mean to say like, ma'am, suppose we are take for a random database from the any website, ma'am. So how can I able to deal with them? So how can I able to?
That when you can do that. One such database is movies database. Once you understand how we are dealing with this, any kind of database you can deal. We have one website called as kaggle.com. I'll show you. Yeah, you know, right? So you can download any database from that and you can use that database in the same way how we are maintaining this movies database. I'll show you.
Okay. Okay. No problem. No, I mean to say, ma'am, what kind of questions? How do you able to crack the intro questions, ma'am? That's why I'm asking about, ma'am. So either we go for a hacker and kind of things, right, ma'am? For the, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, usually I suggest students to follow HackerRank only. That is one of the important website. Definitely. In this particular movies database, I'll discuss every concept. So I will frame questions on this particular database. But for practice purpose, you need to follow HackerRank website only, or else you can download any other databases from Kaggle website and you can practice.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Yes, Raviteja?
I wanted to know like how much of stored procedures will be explained in this course.
Stored procedures. So see, that is what stored procedures. Entire concept I'll explain. We will discuss some examples on stored procedures. Like we have first, I'll show you how to create stored procedures in a static way. Then I'll explain you how to create it in a dynamic way. We have in parameter and out parameter, right? I'll explain few examples on by using that parameters. That's it. We don't have much, any other deeper concepts inside stored procedures. Whatever we have, I'll teach everything.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. If any other questions, you can ask me, or else I'll end the session because I have one more class at 8 o'clock. Actually, it's already late. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine then. I'll end the session for now. Please follow the same link and attend tomorrow's session also. Tomorrow is also a demo class. Okay, then you can understand more deeply. Once we finish understanding about data types and creating table and inserting data, we will learn about SQL commands. Important concept. Tomorrow I'll start this topic. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.